All right, so today we're going to dive into something kind of unexpected, right? Tire fitting.
Hmm.
We've got some interesting info here from RoleCatcher, and honestly, when I first saw this, I thought, tire fitting? Really? But it turns out there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just about, putting on a spare tire. It's way more in depth than that. This guide really emphasizes that you need to understand like the actual technology that goes into tires and how they affect a car's performance.
Yeah.
You're like a specialist, you know what I mean?
So it's not just about like wrenches and grease then.
Right.
You're actually advising people. You're
Yeah.
making sure that they're getting the right tire for the type of car they have, for their like driving habits.
Exactly. Think about like run flat tires.
Mhm.
So, this guide talks about how they're built differently, right? So you can actually drive on them for a bit, even with a puncture.
Yeah.
And, you've got to actually know how to fit them properly. And then there's a whole explaining it to people who are used to just having that like old spare in the trunk.
And speaking of things that are new, one
Yeah.
thing I found really fascinating in this roll catcher guide was how much tech is involved now.
Mm.
Because I love learning about new stuff. And
Wow.
apparently things like laser-guided wheel alignment systems are becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
It's not just about, eyeballing it anymore.
Yeah. No, no, not at all. It's a lot more precise, right? You're talking about like precision engineering, so you need training to keep up with that. And the tools are constantly evolving, and that really speaks to your thing about always wanting to learn new things because this is a career where you can't just like learn it and forget it. You've got to really stay updated.
Yeah, yeah, you have to. And that actually is a good segue into this idea of, what the job outlook is. Because one thing the guide mentions is that, the demand for tire fitters is actually pretty stable.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, people always need tires.
Yeah.
It's not going away anytime
Yeah,
soon.
exactly, exactly. But, and I'm sure you were thinking this already, there is that physical aspect to it. I mean, this is not a desk job.
No, definitely not. That's where you got to be honest with yourself. Like, is this something you can actually see yourself doing day in, day out? This guide's pretty upfront about it. You're lifting heavy tires, you're going to be in some, like, potentially awkward positions, and you're dealing with sometimes hazardous materials. So, yeah, the physical demands, they're there.
Yeah. Rain or shine, those tires need changing, right?
Absolutely.
Grease under the fingernails is probably like a given in this job.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So it's really about understanding those realities and then, deciding if it aligns with what you're looking for in a career.
So, okay, the job market seems pretty good, but what about actually building like a real career out of this? Like, where do you go from there?
Well, that's one of the things I really like about this role catcher guide, actually. They do a really good job of laying out like a progression path, which I know is something that, structure is important to you.
Yeah, structure is good. So what are we talking about? What's that first step?
All right, so you start as an entry-level tire fitter,
Right.
which, what does that even mean?
Yeah, what are you actually doing at that level?
It's kind of like a paid apprenticeship in a way. I mean, you're not just like fetching coffee and making copies. You're actually getting hands-on experience from day one. The guide mentions things like, you're inspecting tires for wear and tear, you're assisting with mounting and dismounting them, that sort of thing. So you're really building that foundation.
Right. So it is really hands-on learning.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you move up. What's the next level? Junior tire fitter.
Exactly. So as a junior tire fitter, you're getting more responsibility, right? So instead of just assisting, you're doing more of those inspections independently. You're tackling more like basic repairs and replacements. You even start advising clients a little bit on their tire choices. So you're starting to use those people skills a little more too.
Right. Okay. So I'm starting to see how this, like you said, progression path works, right? You
Mhm.
gain experience, you move up, you're taking on more complicated tasks.
Mhm.
All right. So now we get to the top, senior tire fitter, right? Like, what's it look like from that level?
Yeah, so at that point, you're the expert, right? You're managing like the whole tire fitting operation, probably at a specific shop or garage. You're handling the trickier repairs. You're giving like top-notch advice to clients. And, you might even be training those junior fitters that are coming up behind you. So there's a little bit of mentorship there as well.
Oh, I like that. I like the mentorship aspect.
Mm.
Okay, so that's senior tire fitter. But then if you're really ambitious, you can even go beyond that to like a supervisor role.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a whole other thing, right? You're
Yeah.
talking about like managing teams, budgets, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. You're managing the business side of things at that point. And, one other thing that I thought was interesting is the guide also talks about specialization. So, like, you could become the go-to expert for, I don't know, a certain type of tire or a certain type of vehicle. Like, maybe you're the guru of, like, vintage car tires or something like that.
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah.
finding your niche,
Yeah.
right? That's way more exciting than just having a job.
Mm.
So, okay, let's say someone's been listening to this deep dive and they're thinking, huh, Tyre Fitter, maybe that's not a bad gig.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher actually goes beyond just, like, the career exploration part, right?
Right.
They actually help you get the job, too.
Yeah, they actually have a bunch of like tools and resources specifically to help you, actually land the job.
Okay, and knowing our listeners, they want those, like, practical tips,
For sure.
Give us the actionable stuff.
Okay, so one thing that I thought was really cool was they have this like database of interview questions,
Okay.
and they're tailored to specific roles like tire fitter.
Oh, wow.
So, you always hear that advice like, oh, be prepared for behavioral questions. And it's like, well, what does that even mean?
Right, right.
This actually gives you like concrete examples of questions you might get asked.
So no more, like, frantically Googling common interview questions the night before.
Exactly. You can walk in feeling like way more prepared, way more confident. And they even have this thing where you can like record yourself answering practice questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then get feedback on it.
And is that where the AI comes in?
Yes.
Because I know they were doing some, like, fancy AI stuff.
Yep, that's exactly it. So their AI will actually like analyze your practice sessions and give you personalized feedback.
Oh, wow.
Like on your delivery, like if you're, umming and awing too much, and also on the content of your answers. So it's like having a little, career coach right there in your pocket.
Okay, that's pretty slick, but it doesn't stop at the interview, does it?
No,
Delivery.
not even close. They also do this really cool AI-powered resume analysis thing.
Okay.
So you upload your resume,
Okay.
right, and their algorithms will actually score it against like specific job descriptions and tell you like what's working, what's not working.
You don't have to wonder, is this the right resume? Is this highlighting the right things?
Exactly. It takes out all the guesswork.
That's huge. Okay, anything else?
Yeah. And then I think this might be the coolest part, but RoleCatcher, they actually like connect job seekers with employers.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying, like, employers are actually on this platform looking for people?
Yeah, so these are employers who are like actively hiring for tire fitters or whatever roles. They know what they're looking for, and if your profile is a good fit, they can like reach out to you directly.
So it's not even you applying to a million different places and hoping for the best.
It can be that, but it can also be like, you put your profile out there and the right employer finds you.
That's amazing. Wow. It's like it cuts through all that, like, noise and just like puts you right in front of the people who are looking for your skill set.
Exactly. It streamlines everything. It gives you a much better chance of actually, finding a job that's a good fit.
Well, this has been fascinating. We've gone from busting myths about what a Tyre Fitter actually does to, like, really getting into the weeds of the career path and even, uncovering some of these secret weapons to actually landing the job. So as we wrap up, here's something I want you to think about. The guide mentioned, transferable skills. So what are the things that you're already good at that might actually be useful in a job like this? Maybe you're a natural problem solver, you're really good with your hands, or you just have a knack for explaining, like, kind of technical things in a way that people understand. And on the flip side, were there any skills that, maybe this deep dive highlighted as areas where you might want to, learn some new things? That's okay too. It's just about being honest with yourself, like, what are your strengths? Where might you need to, upskill a little bit? And hey, if you're really intrigued by all this, go check out RoleCatcher. I mean, it sounds like they've got a ton of resources to help you figure this whole thing out. So thanks for coming on this journey with us. Until next time, keep on learning.